You want to grow rich in 25 and beyond? Columbus, Ohio is the answer. A city of 2.2 million people, home of the Ohio State champion Buckeyes, also the birthplace of LeBron James, Logan Paul, Bow Wow, Simone Biles, John Legend, Lotto. The list goes on and on. What I'm telling you is great things are born in Columbus, Ohio, which is why if you are in real estate or you are in business, you would be wise to understand not only the opportunity, but to see the future before it happens, because great wealth is generated in the most uncertain times, right? And the best opportunities in life are usually when it is surrounded by the most difficult circumstances. 24 was an interesting year. 25 seems to be even more interesting. So instead of focusing on the problem, let's look at opportunities, because ultimately that is the key to how you generate wealth, not only in real estate, but even in your personal life. And so let's talk about Columbus, Ohio, now affectionately known as Boomtown. Why? Because artificial and technology is the future, not only for America, but specifically Columbus, Ohio. And Columbus, Ohio seems to be at the forefront and on the cutting edge of making that a reality. How do we know that? Number one, if you've lived under a rock, announced in 2022, Intel was selected Columbus, Ohio as its future. Even though it does have plants in Chandler, Arizona, and a few others that are being discussed, what we know is that over $100 billion has been committed to date specifically for the Intel project. Now, what are they doing? They are building a US-based fab plant to produce computer chips. Why? Because it is a matter of national security. And so with that being said, what we now know it has been under active construction for the last few years. And yes, there are delays, which is always going to be the reality of a rapidly emerging market. But that's life. That's real estate. That's business. Usually in the trend of life, it takes 5 years to figure something out, 10 years to get good, and 20 years to get great. So you are at the forefront within the first 3 years, and I want you to take an advantage because I am. Not only do we own over 200 acres 4 minutes from Intel, we are actively always seeking to buy additional residential, commercial, agricultural lots in order to be a part of the Boomtown, because with every great opportunity, there's also great need. And so what? Anytime jobs are announced, and Intel has announced that directly through to its own production as well as its tier 1 and tier 2 suppliers, they expect over 10,000 jobs to be created. So here's the opportunity in Columbus. For every job created, you need one home built. But here's the better part. Intel will actually bring over 38,000 jobs. So Columbus, Ohio right now is not only the third most active and successful real estate market. Why? Because of undersupply or underdevelopment. Since the 2008 economic collapse, Central Ohio has underproduced by over 150,000 homes. And that was before Intel was announced. So what does that mean for me and you? That means we get to be a part of the solution, because no one person, no one entity can solve a housing crisis now expected to be nearly at 2,000 homes. But you, I, and us can make that possible. And so in the link in the bio, I want you to pay attention and click the button for Developer Nation. What is Developer Nation? Debuting in the next month or so, it is an online course where I will not only teach you how to do large-scale economic development, I will partner with you. What does that mean? You bring deals and opportunities. We will pitch that project to our capital vendors, which range from family offices, high net worth individuals, private equity, and hedge fund. These are rinse and repeat relationships. And so click in that bio, click Developer Nation, where I will share a 10-minute video telling you more about how you can be a part of this Boomtown. So let's get back to Columbus, Ohio. Intel have already committed $100 billion. You have Google, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, right, have all announced relocating either regional or national headquarters here to be a part of what has been intentionally coordinated as the future global economic hub for all things AI and technology. And so how do we know that? All you have to do is follow the money. Whether you know or not, Mr. Les Wexner, the great Les Wexner, who is one of the wealthiest people in all of the world, is not only born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, but you would know him most notably for being the creator, visionary, and owner of what? Bed Bath, not Bed Bath and Beyond, but Bath and Body Works, excuse me. Victoria's Secret, Express, Limited, White Barn Candle, and many other well-regarded industries. And so what does that mean? He has the power, the influence, and the resources to help ignite economic growth. And we all get to be the beneficiary of obviously an individual who is a visionary. And so with that being said, I want to see you, me, us take advantage of that opportunity. So what does that mean? When you look at Central Ohio, it is expected in the next 30 to 40 years to outgrow Atlanta. Atlanta being a city of almost 7 million people. What was the tender? What was the igniter that created that? It was Hartsfield-Jackson. Yes, an airport is what created explosive growth. And yet the interesting irony is that two different cities had the opportunity. It was Atlanta. It was Birmingham, Alabama, of all places. Well, when Birmingham, Alabama, and the powers that be looked at the reality of domestic and international flights, they thought it would never actually mature to what we now know it as today. See, they didn't have vision for what was possible. Atlanta was wise enough to strike that opportunity. And if you look at the data, the gross income that each city produces, there's a huge disparity between the two. Why? Because where others saw a problem, Atlanta saw a profit. Columbus is the new advent of that reality, and it begins and ends with Intel. Now look, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. We know, due to all of the economic uncertainty and some of the challenges that Intel has had, right? Whether the day it opens, if it will say Intel or if it will say Qualcomm or Broadcom or TSMC, I don't know. But what we do know is that the current capital investment into the Intel project, which is expected to be roughly well over 20 billion of the 100 billion that has been committed, the clawbacks for Intel to abandon the project are so aggressive that from what I understand, it would be more costly for them to suspend the project than to complete it. And so what they have done, based on my research, is they have unwound the foundry to put it into a separate LLC structure to allow it to attract not only private, but general capital opportunities beyond government funding. And so what we know is that it will be completed. As of about a week ago, it was announced that Intel is delaying grand opening till 2030, 2031. But that is actually one of the greatest opportunities for you and I, and we're going to seize it. And so ultimately, when you look at Columbus, Ohio, if you want to be a part of the future, always understand that these things are planned. And one of the telltale signs, believe it or not, was a movie that Steven Spielberg produced that debuted in 2014 called Ready Player One. If you recall seeing this movie, what you will notice are three phenomenons. Number one, interestingly enough, the movie takes place in Columbus, Ohio. Watch the first few minutes. Next, it depicted Columbus, Ohio, 11 years ago, people, as the AI technology capital of the world, if you remember the movie. And yet, while it goes into other realities about the dangers of social media and full immersion in technology, the ultimate point of the movie is that while we are expanding into a technology-based world, we still have to live in the real world. And so in that, it is what it is. But all of that being said, Columbus, Ohio, the birthplace of greatness, the birthplace of the Ohio State Buckeyes, birthplace of many other greats, is the gold mine of the future. And I want to partner with you to help make that possible. So like, comment, subscribe, check the links below to learn and get a preview announcement or preview to what Developer Nation will be and how you can benefit. And as always, I want you to know that all things work together for the good of those that love God and are called according to his purpose. I'm Shaun J. Ford, builder of cities, builder of people. I'll see you on the next episode.